I do have a couple of questions for you. Do we do a good job to serve the people we lead? How do we serve them? How are we there for them? How do we structurally back them up? How do we always support them? And how important is it to us to make the right decision, to always do the right thing? My presentation is titled Servant Leadership Through Compliance. And I'm going to start off with just a few definitions. By Mr. Robert Greenleaf, he states that servant leadership is a philosophy and a set of practices that enriches the lives of individuals, building better organizations, and ultimately creates a more just and caring world. My favorite definition comes from the Center of Servant Leadership based out of Columbus, Georgia, and it states that servant leadership is a lifelong journey. Let me repeat that. Servant leadership is a lifelong journey. It reminds me of a psychology term of self-actualization, when one truly cannot reach the pinnacle of what they can be. One cannot reach the climax of how intelligent they can be or what they can learn. We can always learn more, and we can always strive to improve. And this includes the discovery of oneself and the desire to serve others and a commitment to lead, a true commitment to lead others. Compliance, by definition, the act or process of complying to a desire, demand, proposal, or regimen, or to coercion. Conformity in fulfilling official requirements. A disposition to yield to others, meaning a disposition, meaning your inherent qualities. What is your nature? What is your mentality? What is your temperament? I've been told my entire life, John, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. What is your tone? Okay? Going through, there are several servant leaders throughout American history. This is not a new concept. My favorite is General George Patton. He is a World War II general, most famous for his ability to serve the people he led. He leads by example. He leads from the front lines. Two of my favorite quotes of his is, "Do everything you ask of those you command." Do everything you ask of those you command. And this next one is very important. Moral courage is the most valuable and usually the most absent characteristic in men. The most valuable and usually the most absent characteristic in people is moral courage. The ability to stand up and always do the right thing. Okay? Servant leadership in the food industry. We can't be in Atlanta, Georgia without saying something on leadership and customer service without bringing Chick-fil-A into it. So right under Chick-fil-A's mission statement on their website, it says we should be about more than just selling chicken. We should be a part of our customers' lives in the communities in which you serve. I am in Vidalia, Georgia. So if you go to Vidalia, Georgia, you'll see Mr. Britt McDade. He's the Chick-fil-A operator down in Vidalia. It's a fairly new Chick-fil-A, so everybody is pumped that it is in town. Mr. Britt McDade, if you ever call to arrange an appointment with him, he'll get offended. I know from personal experience. Because he says, "Sir, you can come in anytime. You'll probably see me here at least 5-6 days a week, and you'll see me here performing in some capacity." I have seen him work the drive-through line standing outside in the rain when I was getting a chicken biscuit in the morning. I've seen him filling up fries in the kitchen. I've seen him being a cashier. I've seen him being a greeter and wiping your trays. That is servant leadership. That is the ability to go down and say, "I am the operator of this Chick-fil-A, but I do want to perform the job duties and the job tasks which I assign to others." Okay? Finally, applying servant leadership to healthcare and to the skilled nursing facility. At Pruitt Health, we have 6 core values. We go over one core value each day throughout the week. Our core values revolve around the word caring. They are cultivating, achieving, respecting, inspiring, nurturing, and giving. Inspiring is a quote by Mr. Neil Pruitt, and it states, "Inspiring ourselves and others to do the right thing because it's just simply the right thing to do." It's a very simple quote, but very powerful. Inspiring ourselves and others to do the right thing because it is the right thing to do. Mr. Nick Williams, our COO, he has numerous quotes coming from a sports background. He's got a lot of coaches that have been big inspirations in his life, so I always enjoy hearing his presentations. And it says, "Let's do the right thing and live with the consequences." He has another quote, and it states, "Always make moral and ethical decisions, and we'll deal with the results." Mr. Nick has policies that he likes to go by. He likes to pray before each meeting that he conducts. That's a very admirable trait. That is wonderful. He writes 5 handwritten thank you cards each month. Again, that is very admirable. We have actually implemented Thank You Thursdays in the facility that I am at, And you would be amazed at the partners that you have at your facilities that have never received a handwritten thank you note. I had a dietary manager come into my office in tears, thanking me for a thank you note that I wrote that took me 25 seconds to write, but made a world of difference to her. But those things aren't what stand out to me. It's personal experience. Late April in 2018, I was at Pruitt Health of Ashburn in South Georgia, and we had a pretty hard survey. Friday night we left and just thank the good Lord above. We got a deficiency-free survey. All of my department heads were in the room. We were celebrating, hugging. It was wonderful. So on the way home at about 8:45 on a Friday night, I get a cell phone call from Mr. Nate Williams, and he says, "Hey man, don't want to take up a lot of your time. I appreciate what you're doing. Great job." He has 2 small children at home and a wife, and he took time out of his Friday night to give me a call and just say, "Hey, thanks. I appreciate that." That means a lot. When you support the people that you work with and work for, it truly makes a difference. Mr. Bucky Bedingfield, he is another COO of ours. He is over the health services. He goes, "Our culture is going to be a culture of compliance." Again, very simple. Do the right thing. Just do the right thing. These are 3 very prominent figures in our company. This next quote, I must say, is probably my favorite because it is the most unexpected. It is a quote by Mr. Marcus Bowens. He is the Executive Director of Financial Reporting for the company, also known as the Vice President of Financial Reporting. But during our administrator and training class, Mr. Marcus Bowens came in for our orientation. It was in the first week of our class. We sat down and we pulled up our dashboard. We have 17 pillars on our dashboard to go over. Mr. Bowens says, "What are the 2 most important pillars on this dashboard?" Many eager AITs, their hands shot up, including mine, and many said census and revenue, hospital readmissions and overtime, performance net income. None of these were right. None of these were correct. Mr. Marcus Bowens quoted, "The 2 most vital pillars to your success here at Pruitt Health are your partner and customer net promoter scores. When the partners are pleased to work at the facility and your customers are pleased with the partners and the care that is provided, the finances will fall in place." Again, this is our Vice President of Financial Reporting that states this. Mr. Marcus Bowens changed my career before his session even started. When you have someone that is a financial reporter for a company the size of Pruitt, it just means a lot that someone would say that. That says, hey, get your partners right, get your customers right, the finances will take care of themselves. A servant leader is always a servant and at times a servant leader. A leader that has a servant's heart describes their nature and true character. They lead by example. They lead from the front lines, just as General Patton did. Encourages teamwork and working together to achieve a goal. General Patton would bring in battalion leaders. He was a general in the Army, and he would bring in his leaders of his Army battalions in, and he would take a shoelace, and he would lay it across his desk, and he'd say, "Son, I want you to push that shoelace to me." So, of course, they put their hand at the back of the shoelace and pushed it across the desk. What would happen to the flimsy shoelace? It would move in multiple directions. It would go awry. It would not go straight across the desk. He said, "Now I want you to pull that shoelace straight, grab it from the front, and push it across." What happened to the shoelace? It stayed perfectly in line. It all moved in the same direction. It was organized. It was structured. And he said, "This is very simple. This is how we will lead our Army. This is how we will succeed." And I came into the Atlanta United Gold Music, and so I wanted to bring in the Atlanta United, the 2018 MLS champion team, the first team to bring a championship to Atlanta, Georgia since our beloved Braves in 1995. And their slogan is, "United we conquer." With teamwork, with great leadership, we can achieve all of our goals. I'm Jonathan Black, and thank you very much.